Explosive, ruthless, and already breaking the internet. A leaked audio clip allegedly featuring Cardi B has surfaced online, and the threats inside are nothing short of shocking. In the recording, the voice believed to be Cardi lashes out at Ice Spice, takes shots at Lotto, and even promises violence if crossed. The timing couldn't be worse, or maybe it couldn't be better. Because this leak didn't happen in a vacuum. It landed in the middle of a firestorm that's been building around Cardi for months. A brand new album, a courtroom battle that could have cost her millions, and a feud with Nicki Minaj that refuses to die. Every headline seems to pull her deeper into chaos, and yet, somehow, every headline also keeps her on top. So the question isn't just what was said in this clip. The real question is whether Cardi B is spiraling into uncontrollable drama, or if she's carefully orchestrating a career built on controversy, beef, and buzz. And tonight, we're taking you through the timeline, how the leaked audio set the rap world ablaze, why her new album is both a weapon and a shield, the legal fight that nearly derailed her career, and the rivalries that make Cardi B the most talked about name in hip-hop. Buckle up. This isn't just a leak, it's the next chapter in one of the wildest celebrity stories of our time. It started with a single clip, just a few minutes of grainy, chaotic audio uploaded online, but it was enough to light up every corner of the internet. In the recording, a woman who sounds unmistakably like Cardi B can be heard going off in a furious tirade. The target? Ice Spice. From the very first seconds, the energy is pure rage. The voice demands to speak directly to a rival, slams anyone standing in the way, and spits out threats that are impossible to ignore. At one point, the speaker erupts. "I'm not a pussy like Lotto. You think I'm Nicki? I'ma fuck her up. All y'all. I'm going to get riot beat up by my niggas. Any red carpet, any show, any event." That one quote was enough to send timelines spiraling. Fans clipped it, reposted it, and debated it nonstop. Within hours, the audio was trending on TikTok, Twitter, and Reddit, with some calling it proof of Cardi's raw, unfiltered personality, while others accused her of taking things way too far. And here's the key. The full context of the clip remains unverified. Nobody knows when it was recorded, who leaked it, or if it was edited. But in today's world, authenticity almost doesn't matter. The leak has already become the story. To make things even more complicated, reports suggest Cardi has since apologized for at least one of the insults tied to the incident, but apologies don't erase the words already burned into the public's memory. Once audio like this is out there, it takes on its own life. And the fallout, that's where the story really begins. Because this leak doesn't just expose private anger, it adds gasoline to rivalries, reshapes public perception, and puts Cardi's entire career strategy under the microscope. But to understand why this single clip hit so hard, you have to look at Cardi's history, a history of fiery words, messy feuds, and moments where apologies came too late. If you've followed Cardi B for more than a few months, you know this isn't the first time her mouth has sparked a fire. In fact, fiery words have almost become her brand. The difference? This time, the words were leaked instead of tweeted, live-streamed, or shouted on a red carpet. Let's rewind. Back in 2018, New York Fashion Week turned into a war zone when Cardi reportedly threw a shoe at Nicki Minaj during a high-profile event. That moment cemented her reputation as someone who doesn't just trade bars on records. She's willing to take her fights off the mic and into the real world. Since then, the pattern has repeated. Heated social media clashes, live rants, and blunt clapbacks aimed at rivals, journalists, or even random haters. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's shocking, and often it's followed by an apology or a clarification, an attempt to soften the blow after the damage has already been done. What makes Cardi unique is how unapologetically raw she is. She doesn't polish her words, she doesn't hide her emotions, and she doesn't always stop to think about the long-term consequences. For fans, that's part of her authenticity, the reason she feels real in an industry full of scripted, PR-trained stars. But for critics, it's reckless. They see her words as dangerous,
unprofessional, and damaging to the female rap scene as a whole. And the leaked audio with Ice Spice feels like the ultimate example of this pattern. It wasn't a staged clapback. It wasn't a carefully planned diss track. It was raw, unfiltered anger. The side of Cardi that her team usually tries to keep behind closed doors. And that's why it hit so hard. Because when you stack this leak on top of years of fiery feuds and viral rants, it paints a picture. Cardi B isn't just a rapper who occasionally loses her cool. She's an artist whose career has been built on balancing music, controversy, and chaos, sometimes all at once. But here's the twist. While fans were dissecting the leak, Cardi was already rolling out something much bigger, her brand new album with a title that seems almost prophetic. As the leaked audio spread like wildfire, Cardi B was already in the middle of a major moment, the release of her highly anticipated album, bluntly titled, Am I the Drama? Now, that title alone feels like a wink to her entire career. It's not subtle, it's not cautious, it's Cardi doubling down, almost daring her critics to say what they've been saying for years. And the timing couldn't be worse, or maybe it couldn't be better. Because the world was listening to leaked threats while also pressing play on her new songs. Some fans called it genius marketing. They argued that Cardi knows exactly how to turn controversy into attention, and attention into streams. After all, every headline about her feud with Ice Spice also mentioned her album. That kind of publicity, you can't buy it. But others weren't so convinced. Critics claimed the leak overshadowed the music, turning what should have been a triumphant comeback into another messy distraction. Instead of focusing on her bars, her flow, and her evolution as an artist, people were dissecting every curse word in a fuzzy recording. Still, the rollout reflects a truth about Cardi B. She's not just an entertainer, she's a spectacle. Her brand thrives on the blurred line between artistry and chaos. Whether it's calculated or not, drama seems to orbit around her, and she rarely shies away from it. And that brings us back to an old question. Is Cardi in control of the drama, or is the drama in control of Cardi? Because as bold as her album title is, some people think it might also be an unintentional confession. But if the leak was a storm, it was only part of a much bigger weather system, because standing behind this latest controversy is Cardi's most infamous feud of all, the one that's defined her career almost as much as her music. And yes, we're talking about Nicki Minaj. When it comes to Cardi B, no feud casts a bigger shadow than her battle with Nicki Minaj. It's more than just two rappers trading insults, it's a cultural rivalry, one that has shaped the landscape of female rap for nearly a decade. It started subtle, a few side-eyes in interviews, cryptic lyrics, and whispers of competition, but things quickly spiraled. By 2017 and 2018, the tension was undeniable. Both women were at the top of their game, both fighting for dominance in a space where the industry rarely allows more than one queen at a time. Then came that infamous night at New York Fashion Week. Reports claimed Cardi confronted Nicki over comments about her daughter, Culture. What followed became the stuff of hip-hop legend. A shoe flying across the room, security scrambling, and Cardi leaving with a bump on her head. That single moment crystallized the rivalry into something bigger than music. It was spectacle, it was theater, and it was deadly serious. Since then, the feud has lived on through diss tracks, cryptic tweets, and fan wars that play out daily on social media. Barbs versus Barty Gang, two online armies that treat every post, every lyric, and every rumor like ammunition in an endless battle. For Cardi, the Nicki feud has been both a curse and a crown. On one hand, it fueled her rise, keeping her name in constant circulation. On the other, it cemented her as a polarizing figure, someone just as known for fights as for music. And now, with the Ice Spice leak, many fans are pointing out the similarities. The aggression, the name-calling, the promises of violence. It feels like history repeating itself. But here's the real question. Has the feud with Nicki permanently trapped Cardi in a cycle of conflict? Or is it exactly what keeps her relevant in a brutal, fast-moving industry? Because just when it seems like Cardi might be ready to leave the drama behind, something always pulls her back in. And sometimes, it's not another rapper doing the pulling. Sometimes, it's the law. If the drama with other rappers wasn't enough, Cardi B has also spent years fighting battles inside actual courtrooms. And just like her feuds, these legal wars have become part of her story. Moments that show how the drama doesn't just live on social media, it spills into real life. One of the most talked about cases came from a strip club incident in 2018, when Cardi was accused of ordering an attack on two strip dancers she believed had been involved with her husband, Offset. The story blew up. Headlines screamed about Cardi facing potential jail time, and critics claimed her street instincts were sabotaging her superstar career. Eventually, she pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges, assault and reckless endangerment, and struck a deal that kept her out of prison but left her with community service. But that wasn't the end. Cardi also faced lawsuits tied to her music, her image, and even her words. One high-profile case saw her win against a YouTuber who